but you want to do the introduction time? Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. I've got to duck out early, I apologize.
Okay.
But,
Good morning.
Hi.
We're pleased to have the Reverend James West here with us this morning. And Pastor West is the director of the repairs of the Breach shelter, and we've been involved with repairs of the Breach for about 7 years now in making sandwiches, and we've done some renovation down there also. So I'll turn it over to Pastor West and he can begin.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can help pass out. And before you pass, I want to pass something to you first. As part of this is one of our social ministry adult ed, so we have a donation for your ministry on behalf of St. Matthew's. So,
well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. But now I can be your pastor outer.
We can probably share it.
Okay.
Let me get this.
Thank you.
Right here.
Oh, yeah, punch more here.
Thank you.
You're
I'll
welcome.
leave these
You can
for the
follow
people
along
who
too.
wanted to be here. I know some people are making lunches downstairs.
And a good crew of our regular folks are in Germany today.
Yeah.
Well, they're in Prague, but yes.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me, and I enjoyed your service. I want to say thank you for the involvement and the partnership with St. Matthew's and Repairs of the Breach. We truly appreciate it. And as you see, I'm not just a director, I'm also a pastor of my congregation, which is Trinity Methodist Episcopal Church on 20th Street, about 2 blocks south of Capitol Drive. So I'm the senior pastor there, so I'm a busy boy. But a little bit about me, I joined Repairs first as a spiritual advisor. My wife got involved. They had her taking notes for their board meetings. And they says, hey, it's the board meeting's open, so of course I want to see what's going on in the community. I wanted to come and I wanted to see. So after the board meeting, they invited me to the table. I'm like, oh, wow. And they asked me, what did I think? So my wife looks at them and says, you don't want to ask them that if you don't want the right answer, if you don't want the truth. And I told them, I says, you know what, I think in your board meetings, I think that sometimes you get off track of the mission. And I do think sometimes some personal wants gets involved, and I think you need to stop and recenter and think about why you're all here. And they looked at each other, and I'm like, oh boy. And they says, he's right. And they says, would you join us for our board meetings and be our spiritual advisor? So I did. And by being the spiritual advisor, they liked the leadership that I offered in just listening and hearing what a person is really saying, and helping with communication and keeping things very respectful and considerate, even when we disagree, that we can be loving and caring and thinking about, my idea didn't work this time, but let's still keep the people and the members that we serve involved. So from there, they offered me a position as a voting board member and then as an executive director. I had to pray about that because, believe me, I was busy enough. I'm a father of 7 children. I'm a husband of 1 wife. I'm a pastor of a mission church. So I was busy, but I felt the call. And after seeing what's done at Repairs, it's like you just fall in love with them, and you just help whichever way that you can help. So I offered myself. Some say executive director. I said the head servant. And since I've been there, we've been in transition, and we're doing a lot of different things. But one thing that I saw that was very important is to have good, healthy partnerships Repairs was always like a one-stop shop. We have a lot of different ministries there. But we had to realize what do we do well? And what do we just do okay that someone else does great? We have this beautiful facility that we just remodeled, $2.2 million renovations. Why don't we offer other people to come in and join our mission? Because they do this better than we do this, so that we can give our members the best. And I always say that when you really look at it, partnerships were preordained. They're ordained by God. When you really think about it, even God having us as his children was a partnership, because he told us to have rulership over the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, every creeping thing on the earth. He gave us authority. He shared with us. When we partnership, we show the love of God. And the love of God means I give and I share of myself. And God even gave and shared of himself. He made us in his image according to his likeness. He shared his authority with us. He wanted to partner with us. That's why he says, our Father who's in heaven, praises be to his name. He says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. He partnered with us to bring his kingdom to heaven and to carry out what he wants to carry out and to rule the earth through us as a partnership. As a partnership. So we think at Repairs, partnerships are very important. And we have many partnerships. If you take a look at this sheet I just passed out, I looked at our programs. What's doing well, we keep. What's not, we try to fix or we refer to someone else. I broke them down into 3 categories: life-saving, life-sustaining, and life-repairing. It's very important. We have anywhere from 100 to 150 people that comes through those doors for help on a daily basis. Some comes from life-saving programs, some come for life-sustaining programs, some come for life-repairing programs, or all 3. And I told them that we have to have all 3 because everybody is not ready for the life repairing. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't help sustain them and we shouldn't help save them. Because you never know, whenever you offer the hand of love, they're more acceptable to take the hand of repairing. We are repairers of the breach. It doesn't matter what the situation is, it's more reasons of being homeless than there are homeless people. It's not just because drugs, just because alcohol. It's unemployment situations. It's mental health. It's so many reasons why people are homeless. But who are we to judge and say, because of your reason, your life should not be saved or your life should not be sustained? So when you look at our life-saving programs, we have the medical clinic that provides immediate quality care for those who need it. We have preventative health care. We have Marquette students, MSOE students, Cardinal Stretch students, all students coming to learn. And one good thing about them coming to learn at our facility and doing their internship at our facility is not only do we have some fine people working with our members, but they know how to work with individuals that's different from them. They know how to work with people in the community who may not have insurance, who might not look like us, who might not dress like us, who might not smell like us, but it's still a quality care that is given. Now that this health care came by, that everyone has health care, we wondered, are we still going to be a necessity? Well, yes. Because when you feed someone, and when you clothe someone, and when you love someone, they're going to trust you with their health care. Some of them, we have to pry to get them to go to places that accept their health care because they are so used to the care we give them, and they say, we don't get this care at the big hospitals. They don't understand us. And they come there, and we recently had a forum, and our forum was to ask them, why do you come to Repairs? They say, for one reason, I can walk here. Where you're centrally located, it's easy to get to. Then they said, well, it's so professional. And they listened to my individual needs. One guy said, when I came here, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I really didn't even know anything was wrong with me. But as I began to listen, he said, I came in here with a bad attitude. He says, first of all, I looked at the neighborhood you're in. He said, then I looked at it's for free. How good of care am I going to really get? He says, but I was so dizzy and disoriented that I had to get some help from somewhere. He says, and I'm not going to lie, I gave you guys a hard time until the doctor stopped and related to me what I was going through. Sweets are the easiest things that homeless people can get a hold to. They know when Dunkin' Donuts is throwing those donuts out in the dumpster fresh, it's fresh to them. It's a day old to Dunkin' Donuts, but it's fresh to them. And they get those sweets. So many of them, we did a survey that 80% of the people we serve has hypertension problems or high glucose levels. They're diabetics. So he said, I came here and I didn't know why I couldn't see. He says, I was defensive. He says, I felt vulnerable. I always thought someone was taking advantage of me. He says, until the doctor explained to me that when my sugar is off balance, I'm not going to think the same. I'm not going to see clearly. He says, it wasn't until he explained to me my condition that I settled down and I actually listened and learned how to take care of myself. And we provide such things as insulin, life-saving medicines for free, without insurance, without any questions. After you've come through and the doctor has seen you, you can get these medicines, because when you're living on the streets, if your bag gets swiped and a month worth of your insulin is there, you'll die without your insulin. We've had people come in our facility with sugar levels as high as 1,000. They should have been in a coma. And we rush them to the hospital, but we follow up with them, and we become their preventive care providers. We serve them with things such as diabetes medicine and high blood pressure medicine. They come in with severe cases. We keep it on hand because, sometimes they lose their bags or someone steals them. And that's another thing we have is we have a locker system that you can put important stuff like that in, because when you're on the streets, you never know what's going to happen to your possessions. If you leave for a little bit, someone might throw them away, someone might steal them. It might be that last picture of your mother that you have, and your mother's deceased, and they carry around the last memory. So we have lockers for them to put their special things in. Another life-saving program we have is an emergency warming room. We are not an overnight shelter. We help them be productive during the day, because the night shelters, they have to leave a certain time in the morning. So what are they going to do? They're going to walk aimlessly on the streets, possibly get in trouble, get afraid, think they're not going to survive, steal the little bike that's on the porch, sneak into a restaurant and try to brush their teeth. So that's why Repairs is open as a daytime homeless shelter.
I know the guest house. I was there last week helping out. That's on 13th also, in the same area. I think that's like 13th and McKinley.
Correct.
Not too far away. So do some people spend the night at the guest
Definitely.
house and then go to Repair?
Exactly. That's how we work.
Ah.
Same thing with the rescue mission. They sleep there, but when they have to leave there, where do they go? They come to us and we have private showers. You get 15 minutes apiece to bathe yourself and have a little peace of mind. You can brush your teeth. We offer them razors so they can take a nice shave. We have an ironing board. You can still put a crease in your pants. Just because you're homeless doesn't mean you don't like to look nice and smell fresh. That's not true. It's a myth. They come there every day and sign up, and they take showers, men and women. And we have shampoo and toiletries to give them. And once they take a shower, now we have started our healthy breakfast initiative. We used to have a continental breakfast. Danishes, donuts, coffee, and they love it. But once I found out that we have high glucose levels and hypertension, I said, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So I changed it, and of course everybody told me I wouldn't be able to do it. They're not gonna like that, but guess what? We have oatmeal now and whole grain cereal when milk is available. And believe it or not, they love it. They love it because once they've had the education from the clinic of the importance of you eating right and changing how you live, and we are providing it for you, and they see how clearly they think and how clearly they are able to see and they're able to concentrate better. They look for the cereal. They look for the oatmeal. They look for the fruit that you guys bring in your lunches. They look for those things. It used to be some candy or something in there. Now we're taking that stuff out and we're putting healthy things to replace it, and they appreciate that we care. It's not that we don't want you to enjoy life, but damage has been done to you over not having the proper things to eat, and we love you and we care for you and we want to provide for you what you need, and they have accepted very, very well. It's one guy, his name is Willie Dodson. He came there with a beard like this, one shoe, one boot, and the only thing that got him there is that warming room overnight. We do overnights when the temperatures drop below 10 degrees or the wind chill is minus 10 degrees. Then we open up our center, and we're not licensed for bed, but just like we have here, we have chairs and a warm room for you to stay to get you out of the elements. You know, and we have blankets, and you can come in our warm facility, because sometimes the overnight shelters, they're crowded. They have no more room. Where are the people going to go? Sometimes they get in trouble with where they stay that night, and then that cold weather comes, and now they can't get back in. So we have communication with them. Is this place, are they barred from here? He didn't follow the rules. Well, we have rules here too. You have to learn to follow the rules, and until your probationary is over up there, we're going to let you come here at nighttime. But we're keeping an eye on you. But come in out of the cold. And we save lives that way. You'd be surprised that I've seen guys coming with icicles hanging from their beard. And they come in there, and Willie came in there, and he did not know he was diabetic. And everybody thought he was a beast, and he was a Wolverine. And we had to soak his feet in warm water just to peel his socks off. He had the same socks on for so long that his skin and the material made an adhesive. And he had to peel his socks off. But after giving him a fresh pair of socks, getting him to our clinic, because once you spend a night, then our regular shelter opens at 7 a.m. So now you can have breakfast. Now you can go to the clinic. And then we have a podiatrist there who worked on his feet. He thought his feet would hurt for the rest of his life, but he just had some ingrown toenails that took about an hour and a half to take care of, and worked on his feet for an hour and a half. And then Stan's Bootery and Dr. Comfort last year both gave us 150 pair of orthopedic shoes and boots apiece. That after they worked on his feet and gave him some nice plush clean socks and put him on those shoes and gave him a razor and he shaved, gave him insulin. I don't know if you remember in 2014, we had a brutal winter. I mean a brutal winter. We were open a record of 51 nights in our overflow, our overnight warming room. And because it was back to back, he was there days upon days that he says, these people really care about me. For some reason, they think we're doing this at first to get at them or we're setting them up. But once he's seen the continuous love and care that we had for him, we talked him into taking a shower. We talked him into going to see the clinic. We talked him into changing his clothes. Coming to find out, Willie Dodson is a very intelligent guy. He got on the wrong side of the track as a young guy. He said, I had a good mother, a good father. He said, I hung out with the cool crowd that led me astray. He said, and I thought they were cooler than my parents. And at age 17, I got in some trouble that led me to doing 18 years in prison. He said, where I saw everything. He said, but now, since I've been here, it's got to be something for my life at 50 years old. And I'm going to stay here until I find out what it is. Well, I found out that Willie is an excellent speaker. So I take him to the high schools and to the middle schools, and I let him tell the kids about his plight and where it led him. And he talks, and he's so passionate that he shares his intimate story that when I slept in the park, I had to put cigarette butts in my ears so bugs from the tree don't climb in the cavity of my ears. He says, guess what? Not because I had a broken home. I had a good home, good parents that worked. But I thought that my friends were cooler and they didn't know what they wanted. They didn't know what they were talking about, and my friends my age did. And he really talks to the teenagers. Because you know when you get about that age, I don't care where you live, we don't know who's going to influence who and which way our kids are going to go. But to have someone come in and tell them what it led them to, and the 18 years of him being in prison, and how right now his long-term goal is just to be a taxpayer, to get a job, and put in the pot that he's been taken out of for so long. You know, it is dynamic. And when they leave, they're crying. We get emails saying, I'm listening to my parents now. I'm washing the dishes now. You know, and it's very impactful and it gives them purpose. But that's just one of the stories. This warming room that we have open. We had 2 guys that some people want to be homeless. That's their choice. They feel that they have a freedom. But that winter, the police would go get them and tell them, I'm either taking you to jail or I'm taking you to repairs to save your life. You cannot stay out. Oh, I got my garbage bags. I'm insulated. I'm fine. You're picking on me. And they would bring them to repairs. And because we were open so many nights and we loved on them and we gave them all of these different programs that we have. 2 guys in one winter had their suitcase with them saying, as soon as it warms up, I'm going back under my bridge. And we're saying, well, please, just talk to the social worker. Please, we have a specialist here. They wouldn't listen. After about the 10th day they were there, we talked them into seeing the social worker. And they said, but leave my suitcase right here because I'm going back. It ain't nothing they can tell me. Well, this 10th day was the day of glory because they went and talked to the social workers. We found out these guys were veterans. They had just got disconnected with their benefits. That they had benefits. I'm not a charity case. I'm not taking anything for free. And I said, listen, you earned this. You're a veteran. You fought for us. You put your life on the line. This isn't a handout. This is something that belongs to you. And he looked, he says, it sure does. You don't know what and we said, well, can you go look at the place that we can place you with? I'll look, but I'm telling you, I'm not staying. Next thing you know, an hour and a half later, he comes back. Give him my suitcase. He said, where you going? He showed us his keys. He said, I'm going to my new house. A man 10 years living up under the bridge who thought this was the way he wanted to go had changed his mind after 10 days of love and someone showing them how to be indoors and how to do things in a certain way again, getting back connected to life and the things of life and having a resource for someone to track his record and what he's been through and what he's doing to get him all the professional help and the benefits that he had coming already. One thing we do, if you look at our life sustaining programs, is our breakfast, our lunch, we have showers, we have a telephone system that they can use to take care of their business. They have the government phones, but sometimes it's on and sometimes it's not. So they have a telephone with an answering service that if they do get a job, that someone can contact them because they're there to take a shower every day. It's convenient to check your messages every day. And we also have a mailing system. There's some programs that you can't get the benefits without having an address. But if you're homeless, how do you have an address? So they use our address and we have a mailing system to get them their important mail. We have a sleep support system, which means if you work second or third shift, where do you sleep? If you're working second shift, that means you're getting off at nighttime. If you're homeless, you can't go to sleep till about 2 o'clock till everything's settled down and you find where a quiet spot is and there's not going to be any traffic. So trying to work a job, we found that a lot of times they mean well, but it's only so much your body can take going on for 3 hours a day. So what we came up with is a respite room. We're not licensed for beds, but we can have recliners. So Aurora Healthcare donated us recliners to put in our respite room that our second and third shift people could go to sleep. So they show up in the morning, they get breakfast, they go to sleep, They tell us what time to wake them up. We wake them up, they eat a hot lunch, and then they grab one of those bags that we have left over that you guys bring for a bag lunch to go off to work. And I'm telling you the truth, the pride that you see in their face as they're iron their clothes and get ready for work. And they put their clothes on and they get their lunch bag and they're gonna go there. Can you imagine just going to work and everyone there goes in the lunchroom and they're eating and you have nothing to eat? That alone makes you not want to come back the next day. Doesn't mean that you're lonely, but they ask you, how many days are you gonna come without lunch? That's embarrassing. It's hard to fit in. But because of people like you that make those lunches, that's what we use them for. We give them to them when they go to work and they have a lunch or 2 lunches, you know, and they can sit there and on one little 15-minute break, they say they eat 1 lunch and then now they see me pull out a whole nother lunch. They said, Pastor, I put out my whole nother lunch, my second break. Boy, I felt good. That's what we do. That's what we do. We build them up. We encourage them to continue on, that it's not over, and to keep pegging away no matter what your problem is. We have a clothing giveaway, which means we have a Boston store, we call it. It is a room that we take all the slightly used and new clothes that is donated to us. We hang them up, we sort them according to women and men, sizes, we have racks, and they get to go shopping once a week on Saturday. And they go through and they select the items and they shop, but they don't have to pay a dime. They leave there. We have a special section for interview clothes. That is the fancy, nice clothes that they know once I land the interview, I get to go personally shopping during the week and pick the fine clothes, the dress pants and the dress shoes. Again, Stan's Bootery did a fundraiser for us too. They gave them a discount whenever they brought in some of their trade in their shoes for a new pair, and they get a discount off the new pair. But it was still some nice shoes that they donated, that our people put on a tie and go for an interview and lift their heads up. We have an employment center that helps them to do resumes. And then once they have their resume, you have this nice resume, then we have coaches that work with them, help them speak fluently to their resume. So they get their clothes, they practice with the coach, and they walk in prepared and ready. And they sell themselves on why I'm the guy or the woman for the job, with their tie on or their nice dress and their nice dress shoes. Our life preparing programs consist of counseling, community advocates, outreach services that provides information to individuals and connect them with programs that they may qualify for. We have a literacy program, an art therapy program. Mount Mary runs a beautiful art therapy program. And when I first got there, I must admit, I was naive. I says, art therapy? They're all adults. We don't allow children here, you know? And I get up there, I'll never forget one guy, he was edgy. And he was almost causing problems all over the place, you know? And as soon as they came in, he goes, I'm signing up for art therapy. And I'm like, good, you kind of need to go upstairs a little bit. This guy's getting a little restless, you know? I don't want to have to put him out, but he's kind of bothering people. He goes to art therapy, and when he comes down, this guy is the nicest guy you want to meet. Now he's helpful, he's helping serving lunch, and he says, yeah, I needed that art therapy. I was overdue. And I says, what happened? What did you guys do to him? He says, art therapy. Say he had a bad day earlier today. He says art therapy is something that they can deal with without talking. Maybe he didn't want to talk about it. He can put on paper what he feels and he can look at it and he can deal with it. And if he's angry, he can draw angry. You know, you might have on one side of the paper lightning bolts, and the other one, the sun is shining with flowers. And I'm thinking, what is it? And it's how he transitioned from his day. I came in this way, and I'm leaving out this way. And he was just as calm. And I'm like, wow, this is really therapeutic. And you'd be surprised that we actually have some artists among our members, our homeless members. I mean, some detailed things that is just amazing. It'll take you 2 hours to even look at it and see all the detail that's in it. They're really talented. But it's things like that that we have. Alumni support. We provide help for people who we have connected with jobs, connected with homes, but are still poor, that we collect household things, dishes, towels, such as that, because as soon as they get their first paycheck, if they have enough for rent or security deposit, they'll move in without a bed, without a couch, without anything, something just to call their own. So we offer support to them. We have spiritual guidance. We have Bible studies. All denominations are welcome to come there. And it's really a spiritual group. They love when people come and share the gospel with them. They are very attentive. And you'd be surprised how many they keep their Bible, but when you think about how do they get through what they go through, you have to have faith. You have to have faith. When we talk about partnerships, we partner with the different colleges, Marquette, for our medical clinic. The different colleges for our medical clinic. We partner with, for homeless, we have a special veterans outreach. Milwaukee Homeless Veteran Initiative is within our building. They have a space in our building that they use, and they deal with the veterans. We have Milwaukee Achievers, who runs our adult classroom, who is awesome. And I told them when they came, I said, listen, I know graduations look good, and we can put it on paper and we show how many graduations we have. I said, but I'm more interested in them having a foundation in their reading and their math skills. I want them tested. I want them to start exactly where they are. And don't teach them just to pass the test. Teach them to have a firm foundation in their studies. So this year we didn't have any graduations, but everyone that attended our classroom this year moved up at least 2 levels in the areas of reading and mathematics. I think that is awesome. Because, we might not turn out a bunch of surgeons. But guess what? If we can help a person be the best that they can be, I think we've done what we're supposed to do. And that's what I tell the members. I want you to be the best that you can be. I want to support you and give you what you need to be the best that you can be. And wherever God takes that, that's between you and him. But you know that Pastor West wanted to do everything that he could for you to be the best that you can be. The best person, the best father, the best brother. Whatever you are in life, I want you to be the best that you can be. And I'll do anything that I can to help you be the best that you can be. We also have a women's safe haven. This is a 3-room suite. In fact, I'm pretty sure that St. Matthew's, anyone know Heidi Findus?
Yeah.
You guys furnished this room for us. Well, we're about to really promote this room. Because women, they're a little different at repairs. They kind of get what they need, do what they have to do, and they move on. The guys will hang around for a little more fellowship. And we start to wonder, we says, you know what? Do we need this women's safe haven? Is this important? I mean, it's important, but if we don't have anyone up here, should we use the space for something else? And I conveyed to the board, I says, you know what? We haven't really given it our best. You see, to be successful, you can't just talk about what you do good. You have to talk about where you fall short at too. You have to talk about some problems. And I says, I don't think we promoted it the right way. They says, well, Sojourner Truth, they're opening up that new facility, and they're about women. Why don't we just kind of work with them and send them to them? I says, let's talk to them, and let's see what they're going to offer, and to see can it take the place of what our vision is that we were going to offer. So one of our board members went and talked to the ED over there, and guess what they said? They says, you know what? We do have a lot of programs. He says, but repairs is known for unique programs. We don't have a mailing system. There's certain things that you have that we just don't have. So what they said is, if we can sit down, talk about it, maybe we'll send some staff over there and man your women's safe haven. Is that a wonderful partnership or what? These women are going to come over, and then we're going to promote our programs so that while you're there getting your mail, while you're there taking a private shower, or you're there getting some of the resources that we have that they don't have, you can come up to this 3-room private suite with a private shower. Because women, if they're going to talk, if they're going to digress, they like to do it amongst themselves. They don't like to do it around the men. Because some of their problems stem from a man. So they have to regain trust in men. So this is a private place that they can go to themselves. And I'm praying that this partnership goes forth because it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome to have that support system with the women getting together and having their own space at Repairs of the Breach. In your packet, you'll see that we have our mission and our vision. Repairs of the Breach is Greater Milwaukee's grassroots homeless outreach, sponsor of the only distinctly daytime homeless shelter and resource center in the metropolitan area. Our mission is to bring forth homeless people to act collectively to change the present conditions under which they live through advocacy, education, and direct action. And our vision is an inclusive society whose members all have adequate food, housing, health care, a support system, literacy, and an empowered voice.
Can you grab about 5 of those?
Sure, definitely. Some new things that's going on. If you also look here, we won't go over it. Fresh off the press, you're the first one to get our newsletter. It has our news and a call for volunteers, some of the things that we need volunteers for. We have our spring appeal in here. We haven't even mailed these out yet. And we have a Repairs of the Breach spring and summer needs list. If you look to the left, you have this pamphlet that just tells a little bit more about our clinic. And feel free. One thing we really want to pound home as we talk about partnerships. Transparency builds trust, and trust makes good partnerships. So feel free. My card should be in there to email me. Come take a tour. Come see for yourself. Don't take my word. Come talk to the members. See what we're doing at Repairs. And we want you to know that we're not the only one that's doing good work. That's why we support these other organizations. And we allow them to come in our building and use our facilities. Giving us no money. We're just happy to have their expertise there for our members. Because the only way we're going to solve this problem, as I'm sure you've heard, a lot of cuts, government cuts. Thank God we haven't been hit too hard as some of the others, because we have never received government funding. We have been blessed to operate by individuals, faith-based communities, and private foundations. But the food share program just got cut. And if you're between a certain age, you have so many months you can be on there, and that's it. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, if you're able-bodied, that you should be able to, that you should provide for yourself. But in some cases, the jobs aren't there. And there was no program put in place for this transition. No special training, no special job opportunities before they made this transition. So we look for our numbers to be up, at least for our food program. Thanks to the Daniel Sorf Trust, they just gave us a verbal commitment of supplying us with a convection oven, stainless steel tables, a produce sink to wash our produce in, special refrigerators and freezers for our sandwiches so that we can prepare a meal ahead of time, like casseroles and such as that, and just throw it in there in 15 minutes. It can be done because they know that the door is going to be open and that many people are going to come after cutting this food share program. a lot of people are going to be at our doors. So we partnered with Hunger Task Force, who was doing a free training for us, a safe serve training that some of our members, our staff, and our volunteer members, the homeless, are going to have a certification that they can properly serve in the kitchen. And just think, we're going to use that as a program too, because that's a skill. If you work in the kitchen and you're certified at repairs and you're doing a good job, then you're going to get a personal recommendation from the executive director, myself, saying that this person was there every day, this person has been certified, this person has shown that he or she is eligible to become a fine employee. So we're turning everything into programs. We now have, it's not a program yet, it's something we just did. In the past, before I got there, I realized that members, we believe in the homeless serving the homeless. We believe that homeless has some solutions for homeless because they have the plight of homelessness. So what would happen before is they would work in our facility and they would serve the homeless, and they learned how to do things and how to deal with one another, and it's like one big family. But I kind of realized something that I said, we can take this to another level. I said, giving them a stipend for helping out, $20 a day. I says, to some of them, that might be just enough to medicate themselves for the day and come back and do it again. That just might be enough for them to get a little beer, a little whiskey, and it's not enough to make them really feel connected as a citizen and paying taxes and getting a W-2, So what we did is we actually hired them and put them in leadership roles at Repairs of the Breach. So we have center managers who came right from the same chairs. And we did some rehab with them. We did some love with them. We just loved them, and we trained them. And we're teaching them how to be professional and how to be compassionate but professional and firm, and to bring accountability to even your peers. And it has been wonderful. Now we have to say, instead of the homeless serving the homeless, we have to say previously homeless serving the homeless, because all of them are now in apartments and have places to stay. Even the part-time. It's not enough to have their own house, but they can at least get in a rooming house and have a room, a place that they can lay their head and say, it's mine. I pay the rent every week. I don't know why, but this is what they do. They look at their check stub every week that I pay them, and look how much taxes is coming out. And I told him, I says, hey buddy, it's gonna be the same as last week. You didn't hear nothing change. But they always look and have to do they're used to hearing people complain about paying taxes, so they want to be a part of it. Like, yeah, they took so-and-so out of my check, They did last week and the week before and the week before. But they're really proud. They're proud that they're putting inside the pot that they have taken out of. And it's working so well that we're thinking about trying to make it a program. So we're soliciting companies to see if we can get them to have a job at the end. Because it's very frustrating to go through all this training and then get to the end and then there's no job, It's and they look at you and say, I did everything you said. I know. So if we can give them 6 months, 8 months of experience. See, it's easy to get a job while you have a job. When you haven't had a job and you haven't had one in 2 years, no one wants to even give you a try, even though you've turned some things around in your life. So now you can say, hey, I volunteered at Repairs for these many months. Then I actually got hired on. I did such a good job for these many months. And Pastor West, the executive director, he'll give me a personal recommendation because he saw my work and he supervised me. And he see that I can do the job. It gives them a little better chance. So those are some of the good things, fun things we got going there. We're finishing our renovations. The inside's complete. We have a couple walls on the exterior that's in progress right now. It's a beautiful facility. I don't know if any of you have been there or the last time you've been there, but it has changed tremendously. And we welcome you to come and take a tour and see what we're doing for yourself. Now, I open the floor for any questions.
You made mention a couple times this morning that you're not licensed to have beds. Is that something, one of those services that you feel others can do better than you, that the preparers could do, and that's why you haven't explored that?
Definitely. We concentrate on helping them be productive during the day, seeing that we're the only one that does it in Milwaukee. We're the only one. So we have to concentrate on keeping them productive, because guess what? You know, when you look at our list, you'll see garbage bags. Why is that so important? Because all of this traffic every day, guess what? If we weren't open and helping them to act collectively together in a respectful manner, all of this would be on the ground. All of the garbage, all of the things, it would be on the ground, but they come in. And they volunteer in the center, and they treat this like home during the day. And they come and get something to eat. They go to the clinic. They have problems. They don't know. A lot of times they don't trust people. A lot of bad things happen to you homeless on the streets. They get beat up for no reason. That's a thing that's been going on for the last few years, is teenagers beat up homeless people just as fun. So they get attacked, and they're very defensive, and they don't like up closeness, and it takes a while to work on them. So when you provide these things for them, it shows an act of love. And I've seen it, because sometimes I'm there, I'm working in the center, and you hand them something, and it starts off when they're there for the first time, you hand it to them like this. And they reach out like this. They avoid that personal contact. But after a while, and some conversation, then they'll ask you a question. Would you happen to know where we could do this or this? You know, that starts to happen. And they ask me personal questions, and I share with them. So then they open up. And before you know it, it's, hey, how's it going? And now we're hugging, and now you're getting your soap, and now you're going in there, you know. And now you can even hold them accountable. And you can say, hey, last time you pressed that 15 minutes to the limit. We got other people that got to get it. Okay, I'm sorry, Pastor, quick today. 10 minutes today. You know, you can have that kind of rapport after providing someone with those necessities and not just walking the street aimlessly. Usually I don't have anywhere to be at a certain time and nothing to do. What do? You just walk the streets, and ideas get in your head, and you're upset, and your stomach is growling, and you're hungry, and your teeth hasn't been brushed, and you're thinking, oh boy, look at that bike right there.
You say over time, and I don't know how far back you can go, how the extended family, local neighborhood, community support system, is it the same? Is it better? Is it worse? I mean, before they get to a agency, how are the normal support structures that somebody would turn to first? How are they working or not working?
I'll say this. We have a long way to go. We have a long way to go, because it's a lot of things in place. But if we don't work together, communicate with each other, know what this person is doing and what we're doing, just like us. Now, if we just cared about what we did, so we take care of them during the day, and they love us, and they're happy, and they're hugging us, and they're high-fiving us, but at 4 o'clock when we close, if we don't work with someone else, how do we even know where to sit them? So out of all of this love we show for them, it's like you're kicking us out. But what we do is we lift up other organizations at what they do well and say, hey, we don't do that. But before you need this, you need this. So-and-so does this. And if we do more of that, I know that we all seem to be in competition for some of the same grants and some. That's not what it's about. It's about taking care of people who can't take care of themselves right now. And that's how we're going to get better, and that's how we're going to have preventative measures. We have to connect with people before they get to the state that they need me. They could just need me right now. Maybe just the job is going to close down. And they come now seeing what their resources are going to be, because I know I'm going to be in a bad shape in the next 3 weeks. Our job is closing down. I want to be able to send them somewhere and say, hey, let's get you back connected before you need me, before you are homeless. And that's just what we have to do. And I have to admit that we do have a long way to go still. And with the budget cuts, and most places depend on that government money to stay open. That
Just to add on that, my father runs a ministry in Milwaukee called Mr. Bob's Under the Bridge.
that's your father?
Yeah. So, and he's been asked to be on the Wisconsin Homeless Coalition, and their job is going to be to go to the state and try to gain more funds for the state of Wisconsin. And they gathered information on money spent on surrounding areas, or surrounding states of Wisconsin.
Yep.
Minnesota spends $76 million on different services that they provide for homeless people. Wisconsin spends $3.2 million. Michigan spends, I think, $16 million. I don't remember the number for Illinois. So we spend $3.2 million, and there's services that we don't provide any money to. I mean, there's a lot, and I've actually put together some charts for them that they're going to utilize and be able to post, and it's astonishing how little. I mean, my dad's talked about how a lot of the homeless people he meets, they want to get to Minnesota because of all the services provided, but then they come back because they don't have any friends, and they're a very tight-knit community of homeless people, and it's hard
That
to
trust
survive.
piece you said.
Yeah, trust
They
me,
want to
son.
go there because there's better.
Well, let me
resources.
shake your hand and you tell him Pastor West that he does a wonderful job. We hear about him. He's a hero in his own right. Oh, wow. We have to keep working together. We have to keep chipping away at this. And it is our business. It is our business. And it is our responsibility also to help those in the areas that we can help them. Any more questions? Yes.
Do any of them have families?
Yes. Yes, they do. And that's another thing we do is family reuniting them with their family. Sometimes they burn some bridges with their families. And it takes someone like me, they'll have their family member call me because they're saying, no, Mom, this time for real, I'm doing good. Ask Pastor West. I'm helping them doing this. I'm working here. Yeah, I'm doing this. Our actual manager, one of our center managers, wasn't even allowed at his mother's house. So much bad things happened between them because of his addiction, because of how he was. But now that he's cleaned up and he's working, and they've seen the change since he's been working with repairs, she invited him back home and asked, come. He says, no, I'm getting my own place. I'm not looking for a handout. She says, I'm older, son. I want you to come live with me and take care of me in my old age. He just broke down and cried. But a lot of things need to happen before they feel they're even worthy to reconnect back with their families. They want to prove something consistent before they go back. They want to bring something to the table, you know. They want to show I got keys now. I'm doing this, you know. One of our managers, she got her driver's license for the first time at 43 years old. And I'm talking about proud. She now has a Jeep. She now has insurance. She has driver's license. She said, this was the first time I ever drove legally. And she's engaged. Yeah. And now her mother broke her ankle, and whenever she went to see her mother in Chicago, the mother had to pay for it. And her mother was so proud and tried to give her the money for her ticket to get there. She says, no, Mom, I got that. And her mother just started crying because her mother's been praying for her for a long time. She finally got it together. So, yeah, they have families. Some of them have children. And that's what we do. We help them. We have Justice 2000 come in. We partner with them and help them take care of back child support, which stops them from getting a license, stops them from owning a car, and stops them from doing all this. So how can I get myself together to now take care of my kid? Now that I got my head right, and I got a job, and I want to do more things, but I can't get a better job because they're so far out the bus stop. I want to get my license back. I want to get a car now. I want to be able to better myself now that I'm thinking good so I can do more for my children. So we work with them, and a lot of times they can get those things lifted so that they can start paying their child support. So it's a lot of things like that is just wonderful. It's just wonderful. And are you going to change everybody? No. Do they change right away? No. Some of them you have to just give them life-sustaining things for 2 years. And that third year, bow, the light bulb comes on, and now they're in the other programs, and and then they say, I wish I'd have did this 2 years ago. But at least they did come to their senses.
So I know that you had mentioned a few times mental health issues, and obviously there's some really severe things that aren't really like fixable with just regular, talking therapy, that type of thing. I guess I have the sense that there's really a lack of resources for helping people with those severe types of mental illness, especially if they don't have a family that can step in and get involved and take care of them. Like, what do you do with those
Well, what
people?
we do
How do you
is
help them?
we have social workers. Now listen to this. These programs I'm telling you about with the outreach of the social workers, this is volunteer. This is volunteer. We do the most with the least. All of the stuff I'm naming you, we do that for $500,000 a year. That's salaries, that's maintenance, that's everything last year. About $500,000. Because we're people see what we're doing, and we get a lot of volunteer. I mean professionals that would cost us a lot of money give of themselves because they see that what we're doing is really working and it's really helping. And we're good stewards over what we do get. But to answer your question, it is ridiculous. It is. Because you say, well, they're getting a check. Well, they're getting a $900 check with no one to guide them or direct them in using it. Why are they homeless? When you have mental health issues, you don't throw money at it, throw $900 at it and say, now you should be good. You need to find out how bad it is. Should you even be in an apartment cooking yourself and doing such as that? Why don't you have someone that pays your bills for you? They get used so much. Here's a person with mental health who's get their check on one day and they have it and people lynch onto them, and before you know it, 4 days later their check is gone and they don't have anything to show for it. So we try to get them connected with different agencies, and that's what the social workers do, get them into some living situations that have all of that in place for them. But they don't know. They just adapted to this trail, walking this trail and going here for this, going here for that, when they could have a better quality of life. And it takes a while for us to get them to go see somebody and to trust, because they've been abused so much. That same Willie Dodson I told you that finally got himself together, got his insulin together, now he's thinking better, now he wants to work. Because that's one thing I tell him, hey, you able-bodied man, if work comes, you need to take it. And it might not be what you want to do at first, but you build on that. And a guy came and he wanted to make me proud. The guy says, who wants to work? And everybody else sat down and he jumped on me and he looked at me and I gave him thumbs up. This is a sad time in my life. This happened about 2 months ago. And this guy took him up to a farm. Woody came back because he had to speak to some teenagers that evening. They were going to bring, I opened the place up just so he could do it for them. And he's a big guy, but he's limping. And I says, what's the matter? He says, the kind of work that I was doing, I was cutting trees and lifting big trees and everything. It was hard work. It was gone about 8 hours. And I says, wow, so how much did he give you? He said the guy gave him $12. All day work of lifting tree trunks and cutting trees down. And then put him on the bus way far. Took him to the bus stop and made him take the bus back. And the guy said, and then he told him, it would have been 20, but I took out for that burger I bought you. He bought him a meal that he thought he was just being nice and gonna. He told him, when I met down at the Breach, they give me lunch, And he says, we'll get lunch. And he bought him a burger, big $12 meal, and he thought he was on cloud 9, but he didn't know that he was paying for it. And it came out of his $20. And all that work, he came back for $12. So when you have that experience, it makes you not want to jump up and say, I'll help you move, I'll do this, the hard work, I'll do it. Because they take advantage. A lot of people, unfortunately, take advantage of homeless people. So all of those stigmas you have to You have to break through those barriers and guide them. But we see success, so it's worth it.
Are there people that you have to just turn away because they're too
Yes,
destructive? and-
that's it. Yes, you're absolutely right. You have to follow our rules. We have penalties for rules, and some rules is you're downright barred. But I'll tell you something. Being in the neighborhood we are in, dealing with the mental health that we deal with, we have the least problems. And I believe it's the love and the care that we give that they respect us, because we'll call at nighttime to see, is this person barred? Yeah, this person did this and that. And I'm thinking, he's one of our best people, you know. Are you sure we're talking about he's got a red shirt on right now, you know? And I'm like, what? But it's how you handle them. You know, and when you have homeless people working on your staff, previously homeless people on your staff, they kind of know the boundaries. They kind of know how to ease and how to gain confidence, and I've learned a lot from them. But some people, we have to just say, no, you're not, you broke the rules, and you are barred from the center, and the police have been called, because we can't let one person mess up things for everyone else. It's just like a family, you know. We have to protect and watch out for each other, and it gets that bad. It's true. But if you're not going to take your medicine, you have these issues, you're not going to eat right, when it becomes violent, then we have to say no. But guess what? We're one of the only ones who haven't went to metal detectors and such as that yet.
Well, thank you very much, Pastor, for your...
Thank you. You see, I get going. You never get the preacher the podium now.
We have some handouts here yet, if anyone would like brochures.
Thank you.
Just come up and we have them here.
Thank you again for having us. Thank you for the donation, and keep making the sandwiches so we can send the guys to work with a meal.
Wow.
And my card's in there. You feel free to give me a call or...
Let me shake your hand.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot.